Hello, welcome back. I'm glad you're joining us here today. What we've got in store over the next few minutes is nothing less than a conversation pointing to reality itself. Very deep, very profound, and very real. What else? I mean, really, what else? Because you're here and you're interested in A Course in Miracles. So, as the Course does, let's just get right to it, shall we? Could be fun. All right. We're talking today about split mind, the split that seems to occur in all of our minds, and how this fear-based drama plays out, and what we can do about it, because we can do a lot about it. We can choose to set it all aside. But let's say some more. We're now into chapter 9 of the text, which is entitled The Acceptance of Atonement. So, just to quickly sum it up, the atonement is an idea, it's a principle that's discussed throughout A Course in Miracles, where it has, as you might imagine, a different meaning than it does in common parlance. We think about exacting revenge against somebody or something. Here in the world, we're atoning for a sin. There is no sin. We're atoning for wrongs and things that people appear to have perpetrated against us. But here in A Course in Miracles, it means something completely different. Atonement is the correction of our inner teacher. We don't see things as they truly are, and we're accepting, when we accept atonement for ourselves, the correction of our inner teacher. We're inviting our inner teacher to correct all errors in our mind so that we may see things as they are, rather than the way that we've made them, fashioned them, and orchestrated them, which is a giant hot mess. It really is. So you may protest that your life is pretty comfortable, that you're happy and everything is cool. Okay. Well, great. Excellent. Here's the deal. As long as you believe you're an individual, self-sustaining survival unit, a human being, an ego, nothing that is pleasurable in this world lasts. It does not last. Your brand new Mercedes is not going to be in the exact same condition as soon as somebody dings your door in the parking lot or rear ends you, which I hope doesn't happen, but it's possible, isn't it? Nothing lasts. Nothing lasts. None of the pleasures that we strive for and race after and chase frantically after in the world last. Not a single one of them lasts. It's not eternal. It's not the peace of God. And we know this, but we decide to stay put in the realm of excess activity, suffering, and ego clinging. It's simply what we want to see. So voila, we see it. This last statement's very important. It's very important. Because what if we wanted the peace of God? And what if we wanted to see things with the vision of Christ? In other words, as they are. And that's all we wanted, was to see things as they are. Then voila, what would we see? Exactly. Things as they are. Your mind, which is our mind, there's one mind, is that powerful. You are that powerful. So the invitation goes out to you and to all of us, indeed, to stop playing so small and running and hiding. We appear to hide inside this thing, but we can't hide inside this thing. This isn't real. It's not who we are. It's not who we are. So we're invited to listen to the correction of our inner teacher and accept atonement for ourselves, accept the correction of our inner teacher. Central to our acceptance of atonement for ourselves is the acknowledgement that the separation, this perceived separation, never occurred. We're not separate from God. That's impossible. We're not separate from our brother. That's impossible too. So things are most definitely not as they appear to be here in the world. And you know what the funny thing is? The exciting thing, I think it's really cool. You know this. We all know this. That's why we're on what we call the spiritual path in the first place, because we have had a thought, we have formulated a thought, or we've had many thoughts that there's got to be more to it than just this. There's got to be more to it than collecting a bunch of gray hairs and living 80 to 90 calendar years here on spinning ball of rocks, psychodrama. If we're lucky, it could be a lot less than 80 to 90 years. There's got to be more to it than that. And we know there is. So welcome. Here you are. Here's what we are invited to pay close attention to today. Our mind, when we appear to be here running around with all of our labels, human being, starting with that label, species, that's a classification. It's a separation device to separate one species from another species. Separation device. Well, we appear to be running here with that label and all of the other labels that we artificially heap upon ourselves, like gender, nationality, political affiliation, profession, favorite ice cream flavor, yep, all of that. While we appear to be here, our mind is split. It's torn between two things. And of these two, only one is real. The other is a complete illusion, and you can guess which is real. The ego, or the Holy Spirit, the voice for God, our inner teacher. God or the ego, what's real? Light or dark, which is real, which is not? Truth or illusion, which is real, which is not? Your own complete oneness with God and limitlessness, or all of the limitations that you impose on yourself, identifying as an individual self-sustaining survival unit that actually doesn't survive because the physical body is finite. Which is real? We know the answer, so we're invited to accept that answer for ourselves. It's not hard, but we make it hard. We introduce all of the complications on this path and in life ourselves, and we could withdraw our belief in them and set them aside where the light of truth simply shines them away. We could do that. So the Holy Spirit, our inner teacher, is part of us, not outside of us, not an alien will, but a part of our mind that speaks for God, that will show us what to do in every circumstance to clear the veil of illusion if we let him. But the Holy Spirit is not outside of you, it's part of you. So we're invited to listen. We could end the conversation right there. That really is the practical theme of all of this, isn't it? We could choose to listen. Because here's the deal, the call of our inner teacher goes out to all of us all of the time. The only question is whether we are listening. And right now you are. So I thank you for that. And everyone else thanks you for that, whether they ever say so or not. And even if they think you're woo woo and out there and completely esoteric and off kilter with reality, yeah, you can just forgive them and keep going. They'll thank you in the end. Maybe not in this lifetime, but in the end. Why? The separation never occurred. Awakening is going to happen for everybody, everybody. It's already happened. In fact, the separation has never taken place. This is a dream. And what happens in life when we dream? Well, the images that we see and hear and touch, taste, smell, feel seem incredibly real, even if they're really random, and some seemingly bizarre things happen to us in the dream that completely violate what we consider to be the laws of reality. Well, exactly. This is a dream. This is a dream. This whole thing is a dream. What you're seeing here is a pixelated image on your screen. I mean, where's all this stuff coming from? Microchips and things, right? I mean, it's interesting that we have this communication device, and I'm very grateful that we do, because we can reach each other from all over the world at any time. So that's a beautiful thing in the service of the Holy Spirit, isn't it? But we're running amok and we're simply mistaken in taking all of this as reality. So when we wake up from the dream, it's the same as waking up from a dream here when you go to sleep at night. You have a vivid dream, you wake up, everything is gone. All of the images are gone. All of the situations that violated reality are gone. It's as though they were never there, and they weren't there. Same with waking up from this dream. Everything that violated reality is gone. And it is as though it were never there because it was not there. You are at home in God. We're at home in God, all of us, right now. We're simply waking up to that. So the power of choice that we each have in the present moment cannot possibly be understated, which is why I repeat it and continue to talk about it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Yes, ad infinitum, most definitely, most definitely. We need to hear these things over and over. You are one with God. Ideas leave not their source. Capital S, please. And you are the thought of God. Where are you? What are you? Who are you? Yeah. Allow that to sink in. It's not blasphemy. It's fact. So if you're new to this material, again, welcome. You will begin to see, if you haven't already, that this is very different. This course is very different than the way we were conditioned. In fact, it turns everything completely right side up, not on its head and upside down. We are upside down when we see ourselves as individual bodies, as separate. That's upside down thinking. This course turns it upright, 180 degrees. It is the opposite of the way we've been conditioned in the world, to think that everything is concrete and solid and real, and we're going to die. Well, let me tell you what, there is no death. The Son of God is free. We're the Son of God, the thought of God, the extension of God. Love extends itself. God extends himself. This is all that we see, hear, taste, touch, feel, a dream. So what do we do in it? Well, here's where our mind appears to be split and we're running amok, seemingly torn between these two options of truth or illusion, God or the ego. However, we choose to characterize this with the artificial construct of language, which merely points to the thing that it represents in sounds. I mean, this is a collection of sounds that enough of us have gotten together that we call it a language. And we happen to be using one of the most widely spoken languages in the world, which is by complete design, isn't it? It's the Holy Spirit's design to reach more people, which is why I appear to be broadcasting from this thing called the United States, where this thing that you see on the screen has learned this communication device as one of two native languages. The other is Spanish. I appear to be broadcasting from Arizona. All of this is deliberate. You know what else is deliberate? The fact that you're watching this and understanding this right now. Now, it would be very kind of you to put this into practice. That's what we want. Yes. For you to become so inspired to awaken that you put these ideas into practice, where you will prove to yourself through your own experience that these ideas are true. So here, running amok in the world, our mind is torn. We want the peace of God, but we don't ask for only the peace of God. We're afraid, and so we ask the wrong teacher, the ego, to show us what we are. It doesn't know. So we simultaneously want the peace of God and we don't want it. We're torn, which creates all conflict. And it stems from our conflicted mind. Everything else that appears to happen in the world, from a minor spat to a judgment of somebody on social media to war and genocide, reflects this basic split in our mind, where we're asking simultaneously for what we want and what we don't want. The mind becomes dazed and confused and stunned and stuck. So here we all appear to be, because we cannot have both. We can't have truth and illusion. It is one or the other. And we can choose truth, just as we've chosen illusion in the past, which is why we appear to be here with gray hair and achy joints and a light bill and things like that. Really, this is why. Mind is the cause, the outside world, it appears to be outside. There is no world. After all, we're at home in God. All of this is an effect. The body is an effect. Mind's the cause. So what is this course all about? It's about changing our mind. And with the help, under the guidance of our inner teacher, asking for what we really want, not what we don't want. We don't want more suffering. We don't. We deep down don't. So we're learning to want the peace of God and only the peace of God. We're learning to accept the love of God and only that. Not confusion, not conflict. We have the opportunity right now, each and every one of us, in the present moment, to set conflict aside for all time. And we do it very lovingly and very gently. All it takes is a decision on our part to let truth be just as it is, to allow our inner teacher to do his thing. I mean, really. And set the ego gently aside. It's gone. It too is a dream. There is no separation of any kind. So how can there be an ego? How can there be an individual self-sustaining survival unit? No, that's a dream. Now, that's a phrase that I use to communicate here in this language that is widely spoken on this spinning ball of rock. That's all. We have the choice to set all of this to the side. And let's make that choice. Now, you may find yourself thinking that the Holy Spirit doesn't answer. So Jesus invites us here in paragraph 7, chapter 9, section 1, paragraph 7, to consider this differently. When it seems like your inner teacher is not answering you, Jesus invites us to instead consider what kind of a questioner we are. Are we asking only for the peace of God, or do we want to keep our little hatred of this certain political party or our ex or something like that? Our little petty grievances. We can't have both. We can't awaken to truth and still keep our little falsehoods. Falsehood that your brother is separate from you. He's not separate from you. He is you. She is you. 1 equals 1. That's very easy math. So why do we make it so hard on ourselves? Food for thought. It's very easy, actually. Simple. We introduce all of the complications ourselves. And we could choose to set them aside. We're invited to do that. The Holy Spirit always answers. So you may not hear a voice speaking to you in one of your native languages. You may not hear it that way. There are many different ways that our inner teacher responds to our questions, our invitation. You might have a feeling or an intuitive hit. You may just deeply know something, or someone else might say something. Perhaps I'm saying something right now, or I have said, that really connects with you. That's your inner teacher speaking to you. You may see something that reminds you of who you really are and inspires in you the wish to have the peace of God, and only that, that inspires you to forgive the world, space-time, the ego itself. Don't forget that, the Son of God, to leave all illusion behind. There are many ways our inner teacher speaks to us. You could be driving down the highway and see a sign or a billboard that reminds you of something. You could hear a sound or see a bird outside. It could be any number of things. The Holy Spirit always answers. The question is ours to contemplate. Are we listening? Are we listening, and are we asking only for what we want? Are we asking only for the peace of God, or are we conflicted? That's for us to honestly assess and sort out, because it's easy to correct. But first, we have to be willing, adult enough, responsible enough, willing enough to look at it. That's all. So, again, it comes up often here on this series of videos that spirituality is an adult endeavor. It is. It's about taking responsibility. So we're invited to do that too. So, in wrapping all this up, we cannot run and hide from truth. It simply is. We can't be safe from the truth of who we are. We can only be safe in it. We can only be safe in truth, not from it. We cannot run and hide. So let's all stop running and hiding. And if you're unsure what to do, ask, right? Ask your inner teacher for guidance. Now, you may be instructed to type out questions here on YouTube, and you're more than welcome to do that. There have been a number of really excellent discussions here over the last few weeks, and I invite this. So to the extent that you have any questions, please feel welcome to leave them here. And if you have not subscribed already, please do so. This is the subscription button here, the arrow in the corner of your screen, and we would love to have you join us. So thank you for tuning in here. Again, comments and questions are always welcome, and it's deep stuff that we're talking about, but what else would we talk about? I mean, this course gets right to the point and doesn't mess around. And haven't we all messed around enough? Let's leave it at that, and I will see you on the next video.